They laughed at humanity's ancient ship. The alien council chamber was filled with sound. Not of fear, not of concern, but of laughter. Holographic light floated in the center of the room, showing a ship drifting slowly in open space. Its hull looked rough and dark. Marks of age covered every surface. Panels were uneven. Lights flickered weakly. This was the ship that brought the council together. The council leader leaned forward, his eyes sharp and curious. He studied the image and smiled. "This is the human ship," they said. His voice carried amusement. "Is this really what remains of them?" Another council member laughed louder. Humans were always behind. Even their best ships looked like broken metal. The room agreed. Voices mixed together. Mockery filled the air. For centuries, the galaxy believed humanity was gone. No ships, no signals, no colonies. Just empty space where their worlds once were. Now, this drifting object had appeared near forbidden space. Slow and silent, like a forgotten memory. The alien scouts who found it were confused at first. Their sensors detected no active weapons, no shields, no modern power source. It looked dead. They pulled it toward a nearby station. Chains of energy wrapped around the ship, expecting no resistance. But something strange happened. The ship did not fight. It did not react, but it did not feel empty. Deep inside the metal shell, systems slept. The station crew gathered around viewing screens. Scientists, engineers, and military officers all watched. One engineer spoke carefully. "This ship is old, very old. Its design does not match any known era." Another laughed. "Of course it is old. Humans were primitive. They began scanning every layer, every system, every hidden chamber. The scans showed confusion. No clear power core, no known energy flow. Yet something was holding the structure together. The metal was not rusted as expected. It was aged but strong." One scientist frowned. "This alloy should have failed centuries ago." The military commander waved it away. "Humans built weak things. They just lasted longer than expected." More laughter. The council received the first detailed report. The ship was moved to the center of galactic attention. News spread fast. An ancient human ship, floating like a joke from the past. Media across the galaxy showed images. Commentators mocked the rough shape. Artists drew cartoons. Humans were shown as weak builders. No one felt fear, only curiosity and pride. The council ordered deeper analysis. They wanted proof that humanity had truly fallen behind. Inside the station, a young analyst watched quietly. She did not laugh. Her name was Ellen. She studied history, not weapons. And something about the ship felt wrong. She accessed old archives, records few bothered to read. She found fragmented reports, early encounters with humans, descriptions of strange endurance, ships that refused to break, technology built to survive time, not battles. She shared her concerns. The council dismissed them. History is written by survivors. The leader said, and humans did not survive. Ellen returned to her station, but the unease stayed. Back inside the ship, a faint pulse moved through old circuits. Too weak to be noticed, too slow to trigger alarms. The ship was listening. Technicians tried to open an external panel. Their tools failed. Cutters could not slice. Energy drills lost power. They blamed outdated equipment. Finally, they breached a small section. Inside, they found symbols. Human language, warm but clear. One phrase repeated across the wall. "We endure." The crew took images. Laughed again. Arrogant even in failure. One officer said, but as they turned away, the lights inside the ship flickered brighter. A low sound echoed. Not loud, not threatening, like a breath. Sensor spiked for a moment, then returned to normal. The incident was ignored. The council meeting continued. They demanded a full age analysis. They wanted numbers, proof of how far behind humans truly were. The main scanner activated, focused on the ship's core. Time passed slowly. Engineers watched data flow. Lines of code moved across screens. Then the number appeared. The room fell silent. Ellen saw it first. Her breath caught. The ship was not hundreds of years old. It was older, far older. The scanner recalibrated, ran again, confirmed the result. Age estimate, 1,000 years. Still operational. No punctuation alarm sounded. No warning lights flashed. Just silence. Then disbelief. Someone laughed nervously. The scanner is broken. Another demanded a reset. They ran it again. Same result. 1,000 years. The council leader stood up. His expression changed. That is impossible, he said. Technology does not last that long. Ellen whispered to herself. Unless it was built to. The room filled with tension. Mockery faded. Questions replaced laughter. If this ship was that old, then what did that mean? Humanity did not vanish recently. They vanished long ago. And yet their ship still drifted, still endured, still waited. The lights in the chamber dimmed slightly. No one noticed the ancient ship responding. Deep inside, a system finished counting time and began waking up. The age that changed everything. Silence held the council chamber. No laughter returned. No voice rushed to speak. The number floated in the air. 1,000 years. The council leader stared at it. His confidence faded. His posture stiffened. He ordered the scanners to run again. Slowly, carefully, as if force could change truth. Engineers obeyed. Systems hummed. Data flowed again. The result did not change. The ship was ancient. Older than most living species in the room. Whispers spread. Some angry. Some afraid. Technology does not survive this long. One council member said. Another replied quietly. Unless it was never meant to die. Ellen stood at the edge, watching faces change. She saw fear grow behind proud eyes. The military commander stepped forward. If this ship is that old, then it should be empty. No system can remain active. As he spoke, a new signal appeared. Faint, weak, but real. The ship had responded. Alarms did not scream. They blinked softly, confused. The station crew looked at their panels. Energy movement detected. Internal systems warming. Someone shouted, "It is waking up." Panic flickered through the room. Orders overlapped. Voices clashed. The council leader raised his hand. Stop all interaction. Lock down the ship. Security fields activated. Energy barriers wrapped the hull, strong enough to hold war beasts. Inside the ship, nothing rushed. Nothing fought. It waited. Ellen moved closer to her console. She accessed deeper records. Old forgotten files. Sealed by time. She found something hidden. A warning. Dated centuries ago. Human ships were not built for war alone. They were built to last. To remember. To return. She tried to share the data. But the council was busy arguing. This is a trick. One shouted. Humans left traps. Another replied. Humans cannot plan this far. The argument grew louder. Fear cracked their unity. In the station corridors, crew members felt uneasy. Lights flickered. Air felt heavy. Some claimed they heard sounds. Deep metal echoes. Like distant movement. Engineers ran tests. The ship emitted no weapons energy. No attack pattern. Yet its systems were awakening one by one. Slow. Controlled. Deliberate. The military commander ordered probe. A small drone. Sent into the breached section. The drone floated inside. Its camera streamed live. Walls of aged metal. Symbols glowing faintly. Human words lining the halls. We endure. We remember. We return. The drone moved deeper. Past sealed doors. Past inactive chambers. Then it stopped. Something blocked its path. Not a wall. Not a door. A field. Invisible but solid. The drone tried to push. It failed. The feed distorted. Then stabilized. A new symbol appeared on screen. Different from the rest. A human warning marker. Ellen recognized it. She whispered. That symbol means restricted. The commander ignored her. Pushed the drone harder. The drone surged forward. Its system strained. The field reacted. Not violently. Not aggressively. The drone shut down. Power drained instantly. The feed went dark. The room froze again. That should not be possible. An engineer said. Ellen finally spoke louder. This ship is not defending itself. It is controlling access. The council leader turned to her. What does that mean? It means, she said carefully, this ship decides who is allowed inside. Outside the station, space remained calm, but deep sensors detected movement. Far away, too distant to identify, signals bounced off empty space. Echoes returned delayed. Something answered the ship's awakening call. The council demanded full historical review. They wanted to know why humans vanished. Records showed humanity withdrew suddenly. No final war, no destruction, just silence. Their borders became forbidden zones, marked dangerous, ignored over time. Newer empires rose. Older warnings were forgotten. Ellen discovered one final archive, an emergency council from the past. Humans had stood before the galaxy once, not as rulers, not as beggars, as guardians. They warned the galaxy about threats beyond known space, about cycles of destruction, about survival through patience. No one listened. The archive ended with a final note. Humanity will sleep until needed. Ellen looked up. The ancient ship lights glowed brighter. In the council chamber, a new alert appeared. External sensors detected energy spikes, matching the ship's signal. Multiple sources, spreading across deep space. The military commander turned pale. How many sources? The answer came slowly. Dozens, then hundreds. Each signal ancient, each signature human. The council leader felt his throat tighten. These are not modern ships. He whispered. No, Ellen replied. These are the old ones. The ones that never died. The laughter from earlier felt distant, like a bad dream. The ship in the center of the station released a soft tone, not an alarm, not a threat, a greeting. Human language filled the chamber's speakers. Translated instantly. This vessel acknowledges observation. Do not interfere. The message paused. Awakening sequence in progress. No one spoke. No one laughed. The galaxy had touched something old, something patient, and it was no longer sleeping. The forgotten human warning. The message echoed through the council chamber. Awakening sequence in progress. No sound followed. No explosion. No attack. Just silence. The ancient ship remained still. Lights steady. Energy flowing with calm purpose. The council leader felt something he had not felt in centuries. Uncertainty. He ordered all stations to full alert. But no weapons were fired. No fleets were launched. Fear held them in place. Ellen stood frozen, her eyes fixed on the ship. She felt like history itself had turned to look at them. Deep archives across the station unlocked on their own. Files long sealed began to surface. Data streams poured into consoles. Engineers shouted in confusion. No one had authorized access. Ellen recognized the patterns. This was not hacking. This was permission. The ship was opening the past. Records flooded the main display. Images of old councils. Younger versions of alien races. Human delegates standing among them. Humans looked different then. Stronger eyes. Calm expressions. No fear. The council watched silently. A recording began. An ancient human voice filled the chamber. Translated clearly. We warned you. Not of us, but of what waits beyond. The voice spoke slowly. With patience. We told you we would not rule. We would guard. Images changed. Stars collapsing. Fleets burning. Shadows moving between galaxies. Many council members looked away. The voice continued. You laughed. You said humanity feared the dark. You said we were weak. Ellen felt chills. She had read fragments of this, but never the full truth. The recording showed humanity building ships. Not fast, not elegant, but enduring. Ships designed to sleep, to wait, to outlast time. The voice returned. When the galaxy forgot, we chose to vanish. Not in defeat, but in preparation. The recording ended. Silence followed. The council leader struggled to speak. This is fabrication, he said weakly. Ellen answered. These records predate modern archives. They cannot be forged. Outside the station, space grew restless. Long-range sensors showed movement. Ancient signals growing stronger. Closer. The ship in the station responded with quiet pulses. Like a heartbeat. Crew members reported strange effects. Communications lagged. navigation errors, time distortion in nearby space. The ship was not attacking. It was changing the environment. The military commander demanded action. We must destroy it before it finishes. Ellen turned to him sharply. You cannot destroy something built to survive stars dying. He hesitated. Deep inside the ship, another system activated. A chamber long sealed opened, revealing a core not of power, but of memory. The ship began broadcasting, not a weapon signal, but a warning. Across the galaxy, old beacons lit up, forgotten markers awakened. Civilizations that had expanded into human space felt it. Their colonies lost power. Their ships stalled. Panic spread. Reports flooded councils everywhere. Ancient symbols appearing on screens. Human language translating itself. A single message repeated. You were warned. Ellen accessed star maps. Areas once marked forbidden glowed bright. Human territory was waking. The council leader collapsed into his seat. They never left. He whispered. No. Ellen said. They waited. The ancient ship projected one final image. A map of the galaxy. Lines drawn like scars. These were the routes humanity once guarded. Against something older than any empire. The council demanded answers. What is coming? The ship answered calmly. The cycle resumes. Humanity resumes. Fear replaced arrogance. Outside known space. Shadows stirred. Things humanity had prepared for. The ship sent another signal. This one stronger. Responding lights appeared. Ancient vessels breaking from hiding. From asteroid fields. From dead systems. Ships that looked old, but carried impossible strength. Ellen realized the truth. This ship was never lost. It was a key. The galaxy had laughed at a lock, without knowing what it held back. Alarms finally sounded, not from a ship, but from deep space sensors. Unknown entities detected, approaching from beyond the rim. The council leader stood trembling. What have we done? Ellen looked at the ancient ship, its lights steady, unafraid. Humanity had built patience into steel. And now, the galaxy would learn why. The ancient ship transmitted its final message to the station. Observation phase complete. Protection protocols engaged. Humanity has returned. Humanity never fell. The words humanity has returned stayed in the air. No one spoke. No one moved. The ancient ship floated calmly, as if it had waited forever for this moment. Outside the station, space twisted gently. Stars seemed slightly out of place. Time itself felt unsure. Ellen felt it first, a pressure behind her eyes, like a memory that was not hers. Screens across the station changed. Old human symbols replaced modern displays. Not forcefully, but naturally. The ship was not taking control. It was reclaiming space. The council leader lowered his voice. What do they want? Ellen answered softly. To finish what they started. Deep archives continued to open, showing humanity's long plan. Humans had known the cycle would return. They had mapped it, studied it, survived it before. Their solution was not dominance. It was endurance. The recordings showed humanity building deep vaults, fleets hidden inside dying stars, ships sealed in time pockets. They did not disappear. They slept. Civilizations rose and fell above them. While they waited, the galaxy mistook silence for weakness. Ellen watched footage of ancient human engineers. They worked slowly, carefully, as if each ship was meant to outlive history. Their ships were not beautiful. They were eternal. The ancient ship in the station began its next phase. Sections unfolded, revealing systems never scanned before. Not weapons, but command arrays. Signals spread outward, touching dormant human fleets. One by one, lights appeared across deep space. Reports flooded in. Human ships awakening near forgotten stars, near black holes, near empty systems. Not attacking, just arriving. The military commander whispered. How many? Ellen checked the data. Thousands, maybe more. Panic gripped the council. Modern fleets powered up, but no one gave the order to fire. They knew. Nothing modern could match something built to wait 1,000 years. The ancient ship projected a new message. not spoken, but felt. Humanity did not seek revenge. They sought balance. The shadows beyond the rim were moving faster now. Entities older than recorded time, drawn by the awakening signals. The galaxy had relied on humanity without knowing it. Ellen accessed the final human doctrine, written before their disappearance. When the cycle returns, we return. We will not rule. We will not beg. We will stand. The council leader bowed his head. They protected us, and we mocked them. Outside, the first human fleet emerged fully. Massive forms blocking stars. Ships that looked ancient, yet untouched by decay. Their presence alone stabilized space. Distortions calmed. Stars realigned. The shadows hesitated. Humanity had always been the wall. The ancient ship transmitted again. Defensive perimeter forming. Civilian evacuation recommended. There was no anger in the message. Only duty. Ellen felt awe and shame. Humanity never fell. They chose patience. As alarms echoed across the galaxy, human ships took positions. Quiet. Immovable. The cycle had returned, and humanity was ready. The galaxy realizes its mistake. The first human fleet did not speak again. It simply arrived and held position, like mountains placed in space. Alien commanders watched from their bridges, their hands hovering over weapons controls. But no one fired, because every instinct screamed the same truth. There was nothing they could do. The council chamber was quieter than a tomb. Screens showed human ships spreading across key star lanes, not in attack formations, in walls, in circles, in patient lines that blocked the dark beyond the rim. Ellen stood beside the council leader. She could see his scales trembling. His eyes kept returning to old footage. Humans standing in an ancient council, calm and tired, as if they had already seen the future and accepted it. The military commander tried to regain control. He demanded every empire send fleets. He demanded a united strike to push humans back. But the room did not follow him. Some were angry, others terrified, most were ashamed. One council member finally spoke. We laughed at their ship, and now their ships cover our stars. Another answered. We called them primitive, and yet they built machines that outlived our civilizations. Ellen looked at the feed from outer sensors. The shadows were closer now. No longer faint readings. No longer distant echoes. They were shapes moving through space like slow storms. The human fleets did not chase them. They did not rush. They simply adjusted their positions. Every movement small, every change precise, as if they were solving a problem that had no answer. Alien worlds began to panic. Civilian channels flooded with fear. Cities filled with crowds. Spaceports overloaded. Religious groups called it judgment. Scientists called it impossible. Militaries called it the end. And the human fleets remained silent. Then the ancient ship near the station sent a new broadcast. Not to the council alone, to the entire galaxy. A deep, calm voice arrived through every speaker, through every screen, through every personal device. It did not demand. It did not threaten. It did not insult. It simply stated, the cycle has resumed. We have resumed. Remain behind the perimeter. Do not interfere. Do not approach the dark. The voice stopped. For a moment, the galaxy breathed again. Then fear grew worse, because the message sounded like a worker giving instructions, like a medic giving orders, like a guardian returning to a task, as if what was coming was not a war to humans, but routine. Ellen saw the council leader lose balance. He lowered himself into his seat. His pride was gone. Only survival remained. He asked Ellen in a broken whisper, "Are we safe?" Ellen did not know how to answer, so she told the truth. We are safer than we were a day ago, but we are not in control. Outside the station, one of the shadow shapes reached the edge of the human perimeter. It stopped as if it sensed a barrier. Then it pushed. Space bent. Stars stretched. A wave of cold pressure rolled through sensors. Many alien ships nearby lost power instantly. Their lights went dark. Their crews screamed as systems failed. But human ships did not fail. Their lights did not flicker. They held steady like anchors in a storm. The shadow shape pressed harder, and the human perimeter answered, not with weapons, with a pulse. A silent wave spread across space. It did not explode. It did not burn. It did not shine. It simply erased motion. The shadow shape froze, like a beast caught in ice. Alien observers watched in horror. Their weapons had always been heat and force and light. But humans used something else, something older, something deeper. The shadow shape tried to move again. It could not. Then it began to unravel. Not destroyed, unmade. Its edges turned thin. Its center folded into itself. And it vanished, like it had never existed. No sound, no flash, just absence. The galaxy did not cheer. They could not. Because if humans could erase a thing like that, then humans had always been far beyond them. The council chamber filled with quiet fear. Even the military commander had nothing to say. Ellen felt her hands shaking, not from fear of humans, but from fear of what humans had been holding back for so long. Another shadow appeared, then another, then 5 more, each approaching different edges of the perimeter. Human fleets shifted again. Perfect coordination without spoken commands. As if every ship shared a single mind. The ancient ship near the station glowed brighter, its internal systems running like awakened muscles. A new file opened on Ellen's console. It had no request. It simply appeared. Human Protocol Overview. Ellen read fast, her throat dry. It described the cycle, an ancient migration of the shadows, a repeating hunger that crossed galaxies, feeding on energy and thought and time. It described how species fell when they tried to fight alone, how alliances failed, how technology collapsed. Then it described the human answer. Do not chase. Do not fear. Build endurance. Build locks. Build walls. And wait. Ellen understood then. Humanity did not just build ships. They built a doctrine of survival. The council leader asked, "Why do they not tell us more?" Ellen replied, "They did. And you laughed." The words hit the chamber like a blade. Outside, 2 shadows struck the perimeter at once. Space screamed in silent distortion. Alien sensors overloaded. Entire stations lost gravity for seconds. People floated and screamed and prayed. Human ships did not move back. They moved forward a fraction, tightening the wall. Another pole spread. One shadow froze. The other slipped away, retreating into the dark. That retreat scared Ellen most of all, because it meant the shadows could learn. The ancient ship sent another message. Shorter, colder, adaptation detected, perimeter tightening. All non-human fleets withdraw behind the line. The military commander finally obeyed. He ordered retreat, not because he respected humans, but because he feared what would happen if he disobeyed. Alien fleets pulled back. A river of frightened metal retreating behind human walls. On a distant human ship, a new signal rose. A command beacon, older than the council itself. The shadows paused, as if recognizing the tone. Ellen watched the data and felt her blood turn cold. The beacon was not a weapon. It was a call. And somewhere deeper in the void, something answered. Something even older than the shadows. The council leader stared at Ellen, his voice barely audible. What did they wake? Ellen swallowed. She looked at the ancient ship, and then at the dark beyond the perimeter. She whispered, maybe the reason humans disappeared was not to hide from us. Maybe it was to hide from what they kept chained. And the next human message arrived. Simple. Final. Do not cross the line. If the line breaks, we will do what we must. The shadows gathered again, more than before, like a tide preparing to crash. And behind them, a deeper darkness opened, as if space itself was tearing. Ellen realized the galaxy had not just mocked an old ship. They had mocked a warning. And now the price was coming closer with every heartbeat of the stars. I prefer this response. The price of laughing at humanity. The line of human ships held steady. A wall of ancient metal and silent power. Behind it the galaxy waited, holding its breath. Alien fleets stayed far back. Their engines quiet, their weapons useless in their own hands. The council chamber was filled with tired fear. Everyone watched the same view, the dark beyond the perimeter, where shadows gathered like storms. Ellen could feel the station trembling, not from damage, from pressure. Space itself was strained. The ancient human ship near the station glowed brighter, its hull's symbols shining like old fire. It was no longer a dead relic. It was a commander. The council leader wanted to speak, wanted to plead, wanted to demand answers. But every word felt small now. A new human transmission arrived, directed to the council and all major worlds. The voice was calm again, but this time it carried weight. You have crossed human silence. Now you will witness human duty. The message ended, and for the first time, a human vessel moved forward alone. It was not the largest ship, not the newest, but it carried the same ancient design. Thick hull, simple shape, built like a fortress. It approached the edge of the shadows. Slowly, fearlessly, alien observers whispered, "They will sacrifice it." Ellen shook her head. Humans did not sacrifice. They calculated. The lone ship reached the boundary and stopped. The shadows reacted instantly. They surged forward, like hungry animals sensing weakness. Space bent. Stars stretched. A scream of distortion rolled across sensors. The human ship did not retreat. It opened a section of its hull. Not a gun port, not a missile bay. A chamber of pure darkness opened, as if the ship carried night inside it. Ellen felt cold crawl up her spine. Her console through warnings. Unknown gravity event. Unknown void field. The shadows hesitated. For the first time, they hesitated. Then the chamber released a pulse. Not like the earlier perimeter pulses. This was heavier, deeper, older. The pulse did not freeze the shadows. It called to them, and the shadows responded. Not by attacking, but by changing shape, like they were forced to remember something. Alien scientists watched in horror. Their data showed the shadows losing coherence, their patterns breaking down, as if a command was overriding their nature. The council leader whispered, "What is that ship doing?" Ellen stared at the readings. She understood only part of it. But one word appeared again and again in the human protocol file. Containment. The human ship was not fighting the shadows. It was pulling them into control. The shadows surged again. Some tried to flee. Others tried to crash through the line. But the human perimeter tightened instantly. Ships shifted with perfect unity, closing gaps before they formed. Then the lone ship released something else. A second wave. And a sound arrived through every speaker. A low note. A tone that felt like pressure on the bones. The shadows began to collapse toward the lone ship, drawn like dust to a gravity well. Alien crews screamed. Their ships shook. Some smaller craft lost navigation and spun. The station lights flickered again, but the human fleets remained steady, holding the galaxy together while space tried to tear. Ellen realized the truth. This was why humanity vanished. They had built traps and waited for the cycle, because only patience could win. The shadows fought the pull, and the darkness beyond them opened wider. A tear in space. A mouth. Something behind the shadows moved. Something that made the shadows look small. All sensors screamed now. Not alarms. Warnings of reality failing. The council leader finally broke. He begged into the transmitter. "Human command, please tell us what is coming." The answer came quickly. For the first time, it sounded almost tired. The feeder. The source. The one you never believed in. Ellen felt her breath stop. The old human archive had mentioned it once. A thing that guided the cycle. A core intelligence that fed on civilizations. Not just energy, but fear and memory in time. The feeder moved closer. Its shape was not clear, because it was not built of matter the way ships were. It was a wound in space wearing a form. It pushed forward, and the shadows parted for it. Like servants, alien fleets began to break discipline. Some tried to run. Some tried to pray. Some tried to fire anyway. Beams and missiles vanished into the dark, doing nothing. The feeder reached the human perimeter and pressed. Space screamed again. The line bent. Human ships strained. Ancient hulls glowing with internal power. Ellen watched the human wall hold, and she understood why humans were feared in old records. Not because they were violent, but because they refused to break. The ancient ship near the station sent a final order, broadcast across all human fleets. Release the anchor. Ellen did not know what that meant until she saw it. Behind the main human line, something woke in the distance, so large it made stars look like dust. It was not one ship. It was many ships locked together, forming a single structure. A ring, a gate, a machine older than the Council archives. Its design was simple, like everything human, but its presence was overwhelming. Alien sensors could not measure it properly. They returned errors, as if numbers were too small to describe it. The ring powered up, and space around it began to fold. Ellen read the human protocol again. One line stood out. If the feeder arrives, do not destroy. Seal. The anchor was not a weapon. It was a prison. The ring opened, not into normal space, but into a pocket, a controlled nowhere, built to hold a thing that could not die. The human fleets moved, not rushing, not panicking, guiding, herding the feeder like a beast. The lone human ship still held its dark chamber open, pulling shadows toward it, binding them, weakening the feeder's shield of servants. The feeder fought back. It pushed waves of distortion. Entire starfields dimmed. Some alien stations went dark forever, but the human wall held. Then the ancient ship transmitted to the galaxy. Its voice steady. We will seal it. You will survive. Remember this lesson. The council leader could barely speak. We are sorry. The human voice replied. We did not return for apologies. We returned because if we do not, no one will. The feeder was forced toward the ring, slowly, inch by inch, as human fleets tightened the trap. Ellen watched the moment the feeder realized it was being guided. It surged violently, trying to break the line, trying to escape the fold. For a heartbeat, the human perimeter bent more than before. Some ships flared with damage, but none fell. The ring opened wider. Space twisted like fabric. The feeder crossed the threshold. The ring snapped shut. Silence hit the galaxy like a wave. The shadows vanished instantly, as if their source had been removed from reality. Stars stabilized. Distortion faded. Lights returned to stations. Gravity returned to normal. Alien fleets drifted in stunned quiet. The lone human ship closed its dark chamber. Its lights dimmed. Its job done. The ancient ship near the station sent one final message. Not harsh, not proud, just truth. This is why we build ships that last 1,000 years. Because the galaxy forgets, and the dark never does. Then the human fleets began to withdraw.